Just give me a thumbs up, Dan. I can see you. Well, welcome everyone to our TennisONE coverage of the Giorgio Armani Classic from the Hurlingham Club, just outside of Wimbledon, about 5 miles outside of the hallowed grounds. We've got grass at an unbelievable club. Unfortunately, we are not there in person. At least we are not. I'm Andy Katz, Randy Master from TennisONE. We do have our reporter Laura there is on the grounds doing some social stuff for us, but we've got a treat for you. This is day 3 of our coverage here for TennisONE, sponsored by Tennis Warehouse, which of course is where you can go your one-stop shopping for all your tennis needs, gear, sneakers, rackets, and everything, all at Tennis Warehouse and tenniswarehouse.com. We've got Frances Tiafoe taking on Novak Djokovic. We've already seen on these grounds Andy Murray, Holger Rune, Cam Norrie. We've got a chance possibly on Saturday, tentatively. It's still scheduled to see Casper Ruud, Dominic Thiem, who's been to a Grand Slam final. So a number of big-time names playing on this court and have in the past. All the elites over the last few years have played on this court. So this is a prep. This is an exhibition in advance of Wimbledon. Cam Norrie now with 2 victories in advance for next week. He was a semifinalist, losing to Novak Djokovic last year, just down the road. So it's a great way to get ready for the championships in a short grass season. It should be noted that Novak Djokovic chose not to play in any of the grass court lead-ins to Wimbledon after winning his 23rd, his historic and record 23rd Grand Slam title at Roland Garros just a few weeks ago in Paris. He's been practicing on the grass, but has not played on grass. And you would argue maybe if he was going to, probably would have been at Queen's Club. And that was won by Carlos Alcaraz, who he defeated in the semis in Roland Garros. That was a highly anticipated match. Unfortunately for all of us fans of the sport, Carlitos came down with some cramps, may not have won anyway, but still was just not able to go full go in that matchup. Frances Tiafoe at number 10. He's one of 2 Americans in the top 10. We haven't seen that for quite some time, Taylor Fritz being the other. They've met twice before, both victories for Novak Djokovic. Beat Tiafoe in the Laver Cup in 2022, so last year, 6-1, 6-3. And then in 2021, an early match in the round of 64, something that wouldn't happen now with Tiafoe's ranking, knocked him off at the Australian Open in 4 sets. So this will be a great prep for obviously both elite players. Tiafoe did lose to Cam Norrie earlier in the week, and this format straight 2 sets, normal. But in lieu of a third set, if you split, there is a 10-point match tiebreaker. I think we'll get an entertaining match, and clearly this will be a great tune-up for both players, as we hear our MC announce Frances Tiafoe and Novak Djokovic. Quite an honor to be on the call for this one with you, Randy, to get a chance to see Novak in advance of trying to win yet another Wimbledon.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun, Andy. Of all the matches, we've seen a lot of entertaining stuff this week, and there's still more to see tomorrow and Saturday. But when you looked at the matches prior to this week, one stood out, and this was certainly the match that stood out. Novak Djokovic, 23 Grand Slam titles, as you mentioned, trying to win an 8th Wimbledon next week. As you said, not a ton of preparation, but does he really need it? 112 and 18 on grass in his career, 89 and 10 at Wimbledon. Novak Djokovic, he's won 28 straight matches on grass. The last time he lost, Andy, on a grass court at Wimbledon was in 2017 in the quarterfinals to Thomas Berdych. So this is not a man that is used to losing tennis matches on grass, and what a fun opponent. Frances Tiafoe, a guy that, and as we've talked to various people throughout this week, mentioned Frances as a potential, I don't know, certainly not a favorite at Wimbledon, but somebody who's in the conversation as a possible Wimbledon champion, if anybody can dethrone this man, Novak Djokovic. But Frances into the top 10. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, and one of the reasons we say that, Randy, is he's coming off winning Stuttgart. So
yeah,
he's got a grass title under his belt. He's playing with a lot of confidence. And, if we're looking, a lot of times you'll say Novak Djokovic versus the field, even though he's technically the 2 seed and Alcaraz is the 1 after winning Queens. Tiafoe has to be in that grouping along with Cam Norrie, who reached the semis last year. He just now has picked up 2 victories. Obviously there are the other bigger names like Alcaraz, like Medvedev, who it's not his strongest surface, but still can never rule him out. Jannik Sinner, has to be considered, in this grouping. Someone like Tsitsipas, who's got a high seed, just has not played well on grass. We don't know the health of Nick Kyrgios. He got to the final last year. Obviously, did not play a semi against Nadal because Nadal was hurt after that epic victory in the quarters over Taylor Fritz, another American who, by the way, should be in this conversation as well as someone who could get hot. And then Holger Rune, who we just saw yesterday with his matchup against Andy Murray. Again, another young player who's just still finding his footing on this surface, but has played well in big matches already this season. So he has to be on that laundry list of players with a chance.
Absolutely. And just great to see Frances having the success that he's had, as you mentioned. Won Stuttgart, another title in Houston this year. So he's finding his form on all surfaces. Obviously a semifinalist last year at the U.S. Open and has ascended into the top 10. As you mentioned, it's been a long time, since 2012, since 2 Americans have been in the top 10. That was Marty Fish and John Isner back in 2012, who were both in the top 10 as Americans. It's also only the 3rd African-American player ever to crack the top 10, the others being Arthur Ashe and James Blake. So Frances, what a story, and it's a story that's been told many times. We'll probably tell it again today to fans that might not know his history coming from Hyattsville, Maryland, and working out at the Junior Tennis Champions Center down in College Park. But what a story, and I'm pumped for this one. I've been pumped all week. When I see Novak Djokovic out on that court, Andy, I'm like anybody else that loves this game. Just raises it up a level.
Well, and the thing, getting back to Tiafoe, uh, we saw that emotion with his win over Nadal at the U.S. Open. And I don't care what sport it is, that whether it's individual or team, when you go against the greats in your game and you finally beat them, whether that's knocking off Jordan or LeBron in basketball as a team, we think about, back, I'm old enough, obviously, in the 80s when the Celtics, finally got past the Lakers in that Bird era, and when the Pistons finally won and the Bulls finally, every time you continue climbing up, it raises your confidence. And in this sport, for any of these players to finally beat one of the big three in a Grand Slam, that changes the confidence level. It changes the perception of them of what they can accomplish. And I think we're seeing that before our eyes with Tiafoe. The fact that he knocked off one of the big three in, one of the best environments ever, puts him now on this court feeling like anytime he goes out, he's got a chance to win.
Yeah, and you can bet both of these guys will be firing on all cylinders. We talked about it early in the week when you see matches like this that are exhibitions. Sometimes you wonder, are these guys going to be going 60%, 70%, 100%? From what we've seen, Andy, this week, it's looked like, from a mental standpoint, everybody we've seen 100%. They are dialed in. They know what they need to work on as they get closer and closer to Wimbledon next week. And you've seen them employ a lot of different, Rune, for instance, is a guy that probably hit 8 to 10 drop shots in his win over Andy Murray. Probably a shot that he was working on getting ready for next week. But the point being is, this close to the tournament, this is, talk about great sparring partners for each of these guys on the court right now. I think they're going full throttle, and we're going to see a match, I think, that's going to look like a tour level match. Exhibition or not, these guys are out here in their final reps before next week, and I think we're going to see some phenomenal stuff.
Oh, no question. I mean, they wouldn't be out here if they were not going to give it their all. Obviously, they know it's an exhibition, but at the same time, the court is playing well. It's gotten a little bit beaten up on the baseline from what we can tell. It was pristine on Tuesday when this started. I mean, look, if there had been bad weather, if there was a potential for slippage on this grass court, that'd be a different matter. No one wants to obviously get hurt days before Wimbledon starts. But the conditions seem absolutely perfect. We're going to see Novak Djokovic serve first. And I fully anticipate we're going to see a great effort by both champions. And here we go. So that's a great example right there, Randy, of why not work on that shot on grass?
Yep.
That backhanded drop shot volley, which I'm sure he will perfect over the next week. And then when you miss a shot, you follow it up with an ace.
You can tell just an electric atmosphere at the Hurlingham Club with these two guys in the house.
Great deep return by Tiafoe.
Novak with a serve and volley.
Great job by Tiafoe to dictate that point. Had Novak Djokovic leaning to the left. Found that opening on the deuce side.
Francis to break point.
Already 2 aces in this game.
Same place. It's always nice to be able to pull that out at break point down. Just paint the line.
Make that 3. So a little bit of a hiccup, but Djokovic gets the hold.
Hey, I tried.
So you don't usually get some banter when it's a
Right.
real ATP match. So anytime our mics can pick up any of that, that's great. Just went wide. By the way, in my sweet spot, Randy, I would argue that these are 2 of the 3 biggest NBA fans on the ATP Tour, the other being Nick Kyrgios.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, we saw Francis practicing at Wimbledon the other day and decked out in his Luka Doncic uniform.
And we know Nikola Jokic and Novak Djokovic are good friends, very supportive of each other. And Djokovic was also a huge fan of the late, great Kobe Bryant.
Yep. And Francis, as many of us know, played on the 2023 NBA Celebrity All-Star team, the All-Star game.
I talked to him at a Maryland-Purdue game last year.
Obviously a big fan of the Terps, growing up.
Yes,
right
anything
there in
in the DMV. And Djokovic has his first break point. Gets the break, up 2-0.
Big return from Novak. Puts Francis on his heels, so. Novak's time away from grass doesn't seem to be hurting him too much, Andy.
No.
Last tour match he played on a grass court, most of us remember, was against Nick Kyrgios in the 2022 Wimbledon final. Nick gave him some trouble in the first set, and to have Novak turn the tables and win that one in 4.
But let's not kid ourselves. I mean, just because he hasn't played a full match on one, he's been prepping in the last couple of weeks. We are at the mercy of our feed at times. Just keep that in mind.
Djokovic, Wimbledon champion in 22, 21, 19, 2018, 2015, 14, and 11. 7 titles.
Missed that little chipper there. You know, what's interesting, Randy, is that he's obviously at this point in his career, his life, that he can just select which tournaments he wants to play. And he's only actually played in 7 tournaments in 2023, winning 3 of them, including 2 Grand Slams. But, you know, he can obviously manage his time on the court. You want to extend your career, that's what you do.
Yep. Obviously, 2 children now with wife Elena. Still just 36 years old.
Oh, exquisite placement. Oh, I think we're looking at a Tom Brady-like career. I mean, he has got to be in some of the best shape of any athlete at 36 years old. I will not be shocked, as long as he stays healthy, that he's playing until he's 40 or beyond. He clearly still has the drive.
Oh, and there's Laura on
the
changeover.
I did not think you were
Laura, give us a sense. Give us a sense
Not
of the
even close
mood
to
there.
it.
I mean, the magnitude of having Novak Djokovic here at Hurlingham.
Oh, yeah. I mean, first of all, it's absolutely packed, as it was for Andy Murray yesterday, but it's just like kind of different. It's quiet. Like, people are moving around right now, obviously, but it's even quieter than normal, I feel like. And Francis and Novak are just like chatting back and forth right now. Like, it's very relaxed for them, but I mean, as you can see on court, they're doing really well. There was a point there, I don't know if you guys could hear it on the audio, where Djokovic had a really good point, and Francis goes, "No wonder you have 23." So everything's going really well here. But yeah, I mean, the people are loving the fact that he's here, and I think maybe we're a little nervous that he wouldn't be here, but he's here, so it's good. They're heading back out to serve now, so I'll
Yeah, we see Laura stationed right behind our favorite security guard, and we don't want him to get upset. He has taken off the shades here late afternoon in London, though. He's probably still spitzing with that 3-piece suit.
So Francis will try to get on the board here.
I'd love to see some more friendly banter on the tour. There's no reason you can't have friendly banter and be still intensely competitive.
We mentioned one of their meetings at the Labor Cup in 22. That was when Team World finally broke through, won their first Labor Cup. So these guys are obviously two of the biggest. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, that was the Fidal doubles.
Yeah. Both of these guys, key players on their respective Labor Cup teams, and obviously Novak relished being part of that ceremony last year with Roger's farewell from tennis. You could see how much it meant to Novak to be part of that there with Rafa and the rest of the guys. Just take a back seat to Roger's farewell from the game.
All right, Tiafoe trying to get on the board here. Hold. And he does. I think those cheers are twofold. A, he's very popular. B, they want a competitive match.
Yep.
I think Laura would nod her head in agreement with my 2 points there.
And Andy, we talk about that breakthrough win when Francis beat Rafa last year at the U.S. Open. Also a breakthrough win, even though it's an exhibition. You want to talk about a win that he's going to remember the rest of his life, with him and Jack Sock taking out Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal.
Yes.
At the Laver Cup. I remember talking to Chris Clary of the New York Times about that result. He it was Chris Clary and Chris Fowler of ESPN, who both had been on my Changeover Chat podcast after the Laver Cup, and they loved the realness and sorry, technical difficulty. The fact that Francis and Jack went out there and they were never just going to, they're athletes, they want to win. They were never just going to
they weren't going to roll over.
Away. Yeah. And just hand a match to Roger and Rafa. Went out and they wanted to win that match, and they did. So something certainly Francis and Jack will never forget.
By the way, that was brilliant move by Mac. Yeah, brilliant move by McEnroe to bring in Jack Sock for the doubles for the Laver Cup. Probably was a decisive reason in the win. So 4-1 Novak Djokovic. He has looked pretty unbeatable on his serve so far, as we hear from our sponsor, TennisONE.
You start looking at the world differently.
On TennisONE,
Trust us, we know how it is.
One-stop shop.
So maybe it's time to head to tenniswarehouse.com and check out those shoes you've had your eye on. With all the top brands, we make it easy to find the gear you're looking for. While you're at it, watch another deep dive video and take advantage of the free shipping we offer. So what are you waiting for? Head to tenniswarehouse.com.
So last year, just down the road where I'm sitting right now, Novak Djokovic's coach, Goran Ivanisevic, was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Laura was there with me. But I'm going to say, we're maybe looking at least 9 to 10 years before Novak Djokovic is joining the Hall of Fame down the road, because I think he's going to play for at least maybe 5, and then it's 5, you got to wait. So, of all the big names, I think he's going to be the last one to retire.
Yeah, I think it's 5 years since you've been a significant presence in the game. So it's not necessarily 5 years from retirement.
Right, because you can come back from one match or whatever.
Right.
But I think you would agree with me on this, that of all the big names on the men's or women's side, he might be the last one.
Yeah. Both of these guys coached by great former men's players. Obviously, Francis coached by South Africa's Wayne Ferreira.
Actually, when they go to that other camera, you can see Ivanisevic sitting behind where Tiafoe is right now. Always very visible in Djokovic's box. Right there behind that one ball girl in that corner near the scoreboard.
Oh, yeah. You see Wayne over there?
I didn't see. It might be on the other side. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if we can't ask Laura right now because she's courtside, but I wouldn't be surprised if other players, non-practice time, just sort of cruised over here to watch some good tennis. All right, we've got a deuce. Important hold, obviously, for Tiafoe to try to stay in this first set.
Yeah, I guess as long as they're recognized by the club, they'll let in active players. We're getting ready to play at Wimbledon. Remember the story of Roger Federer? After winning 8 Wimbledons, wasn't recognized by the guard.
Well, you could argue he was doing his job, right?
Roger had to beg his way in. Had no idea who he was.
Oh, just too good. So there's a great example, Randy. You're wondering about, I think, going half speed. You can't go half speed and chase down that ball at the net.
Yep. Loose forehand from Francis.
Much needed strong serve there. Djokovic got a racket on it, but no way he was going to be able to do anything with that, great as he is. It's his first double of the afternoon. Exhibition or not, when you got a chance to win a game against Novak Djokovic, you've got to take advantage of it.
Well, it's interesting, Andy, because that double fault, that looked like he was nervous. I mean, that was a really tight double. Like he didn't get over that thing at all.
But see, there you go. You respond with a double with an ace.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, that was a nervous double fault. So maybe some nerves. I mean, he's playing Novak. I don't care where you're playing Novak. Getting paid a lot of money to be there. All right. He served his way out of that one.
Solid hold now, and if he can somehow get a break, we can get back on serve maybe.
I always think we're going to see Laura up in that nice terrace. She hasn't made her way up there as of yet.
That's when you know you've made it to Hurlingham Club. You got that seat up top there.
Probably need a membership card to get up there.
Ooh. Again,
Henry?
that kind of drop shot, if you can, convert that, obviously. Just
Yeah?
only on the point.
Calls who?
Sorry about that.
Goes wide to get the game at 5-2. And Randy, this just shows you the comparison of how fast Novak Djokovic works versus when we saw Andy Murray yesterday. This first set's going at lightning speed in comparison to the grinder we saw between Murray and Rune.
Yeah, two completely different matches. Just hoping Francis can kind of get his teeth into this a bit. Seems a little off.
Your mom said that?
I said that.
Technical difficulties with some audio.
I think there was a fan who joined with their mic and camera and didn't realize.
Laura, if you can hear us, were you able to pick up any of that chatter between the two?
Changeover is over out here.
Okay. Yeah, Laura's a little bit ahead.
It's hard to believe when we refer to Novak Djokovic, we are referring to him as the number 2 player in the world right now.
Yeah, there was an interesting debate. I saw John Wertheim, who's the award-winning journalist, SI, 60 Minutes, of course, Tennis Channel. I saw that he was having a Twitter discussion today about, the seeding in Wimbledon, about are you seeding straight rankings or should it be, somewhat subjective? Because, Alcaraz only moved to number 1 because of that win over in Queen's Club, which he earned. But let's not kid ourselves. The number 1 seed's right in front of us.
Yep. Novak, the defending champion, Wimbledon, Roland Garros, and the Australian Open.
I want to call up here the seeds, just a point I want to make here. So in a technicality, the difference between 1 and 2, if the seeds hold, is, Djokovic in a semi, would play Medvedev versus Ruud. You could argue Ruud's actually, in this instance, you could argue that Ruud's actually a tougher grass court player maybe than Medvedev. We'll see. I don't know.
Two guys, for whatever reason, you just don't see winning it. If you look outside of, the obvious choices of Novak and then Carlos, but I would say Carlos is on equal footing as far as being the next guy up with a bunch of guys. We're having a little fun here.
Well, look at the women's seeds. Coco Gauff, I think you make an argument, is a better grass court player than Jessie Pegula right now, and she just beat her earlier today, her doubles partner. And Pegula, based on you know, the WTA, she is rightly seated ahead of her at 4, Goff at 7. Ons Jabeur, who lost in that final last year to Rybakina, she's at 6. Again, really good grass court player, but that's based on where they are right now. And Rybakina, the reigning champ, she's at 3. By the way, I would not sleep on the 15th seed on the men's side in Alex de Minaur, who just lost to Alcaraz at Queen's Club. And we got a set point here.
Yeah, Francis with some really, really unfortunate errors the last 2 points.
But see, that's the difference in Tiafoe of late. He's got that ace in his wheelhouse that he pulls out and can deliver. And goes wide. So really showing a variety of his service placement here. Oh, and he almost got it.
Novak switches to the left hand. Difference between this and the Legends doubles, Andy, is in the Legends doubles, that's every point is like that.
All right, so Tiafoe's making Novak run. He may pay for it here. Djokovic may say, I need 4 quick serves and get to rest here for a moment.
That would have been nice. He switched to the left hand to go around the net post on the left side. Almost had it.
Ooh, just missed it. That is so disheartening. The effort to get to that drop shot, and you have no other place to place it, but right essentially on Djokovic's racket, and then you just, you have no chance.
It's close. I think Laura looked like it caught it. So Francis seems, Andy, to have found a little bit of rhythm here. Really out of sorts the first couple of games off the ground.
We were talking to Dan Wogan of USA Today earlier this morning in the first match. He made a great point about Djokovic, that at this point in his career, as the ultimate champion, one of the greatest athletes in the world, he just knows how to play and manage a Grand Slam 5-setter. Like, you're never worried if you're in the Djokovic camp if he loses the first set, which he's done.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Andy, I don't know if you've watched the latest season of...
And there we go, set point, and he delivers it. 6-3, 1 set down. Go ahead.
Just talking about the second season, or the latest episodes of Breakpoint on Netflix. what you were just talking about. How
On our journey to Japan,
Novak
we
is
saw
so
firsthand how a
unflappable.
Yonex V-Core is made.
In a 5-set
Witnessing
match
the
in a
merge
slam,
between human touch and
especially at
craftsmanship
Wimbledon, the
with
perfect
modern machinery and
example
technology.
is let's wait
The
for this
result
message
is
from
a
our
racket that
presenting
optimizes
sponsor,
spin and feel while
Tennis
giving you more
Warehouse.
net clearance for better consistency.
It's Francis Tiafoe's racket of
Get the
choice,
new Yonex
Yonex.
V-Core at TennisWarehouse.com.
Novak, obviously a head man. But, you know, as they documented that match with Kyrgios, the finals last year at Wimbledon, you know, Nick was trying, just like he did against Tsitsipas, anything that he can do to get into his opponent's head, he's going to do. And it worked big time against Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas just lost it. I mean, Nick just turned that match into an absolute circus, and Tsitsipas couldn't deal with it. He's tanking points, he's hitting balls into the crowd. As soon as Kyrgios gave any hint to Novak that he was going to start those antics, you could see Novak just, I want no part of this. Just straight ahead, had nothing. You could just see his maturity. Obviously, you know that he's a more mature player than Stefanos Tsitsipas at this point in their careers. It's not a surprise, but you could just see how focused he stayed while Kyrgios was just blowing up and trying to turn it into a circus that would have worked in his favor. So just the ability of this man to just get rid of any possible distraction and stay the course is phenomenal.
Oh, what an absolutely perfect lob. Tiafoe just had to turn and admire it. It's still amazing how many points Djokovic keeps in play when it looks like he's beaten on that particular point.
Yep. He just makes you hit one more ball and one more ball
Yes.
and one more ball. And ultimately his opponents missed that next ball.
Well, now, Tiafoe just missed that shot, went wide, but, you know, on that overhead, a lot of times when you've got so much time to set that up, players do miss it. Hit it long, hit it into the net.
I mean, players just run out of room against Novak. It's just frustration to the point where you just don't know where to go anymore.
Well, if we're going to have a competitive second set, it would behoove Mr. Tiafoe to get this game here. What are you calling, T or wide right here?
I am going to go T. Just a big one right down the middle. See if you can get this hold.
Well, he was going wide.
Ah, we'll body you.
I think we just heard Novak say, "Oh, nice." I mean, Djokovic
Great
respects
stuff.
the game. Yeah, he respects the game, respects the play.
You go back across and go line on me.
We need these guys to be mic'd up more. I know they're not physically mic'd up, but we're picking up some.
Djokovic, the second serve we've seen out here today. The first being Laslo Djere. Played in the first match this morning against Norrie.
How about the approach backhanded cross-court winner?
That's in the Andy Katz arsenal on display at the Hall of Fame.
Could we see a break? So that's a great example of what I'm talking about. If you send Novak Djokovic completely out of our screen, he still finds a way to hit it, keep it in play, forcing Tiafoe to hit another shot. Now, second time in a row, he's come up with a winner like that. But he is making him earn every one of these potential break points.
Big serve by Novak.
I'd say that's the elite competitor in him. And now we're twos.
Francis wishes he had that one back. Novak.
Yeah, couldn't lob it high.
Slice. Not a particularly deep slice approach, and Francis probably could have gotten more on that lob.
All right, so you go from 15-40 to winning that and holding it. So if this were down the road at Wimbledon, that would be incredibly disheartening. The good news is you'd know you still have another set after this. but you'd potentially be down 2 sets to love.
Yeah, I mean,
to the greatest player in the world.
I mean, double break point on a grass court against Novak. Yeah, it was.
You better convert at least one of them.
Yeah, obviously Francis upset. He probably should be up 2-0 right now, but certainly has gotten his teeth into this thing and serving well. It looks better from the ground. Both guys winning a ton of free points on their serve. Which they like to see. The fans don't necessarily like to see that. They see a whole lot of service winners and aces.
Well, when it clips the net like that, it can play tricks with you. Even the greatest player in the world there.
Hit him in the back.
Well, impressive hold for Frances Tiafoe. We are on serve. 2-1 Tiafoe.
With the Geo Resolution 9, ASICs look to push the performance of the shoe, continuing to improve the stability, support, and durability that first put the Geo Resolution on the map. Get the all-new ASICS Geo Resolution 9 at TennisWarehouse.com.
Again, Francis 2 titles this year. Stuttgart also won at Houston. So having a year certainly, Andy, that's lining up for a run at either Wimbledon or the U.S. Open, or hopefully both. Fans of Frances Tiafoe. Loves the big stage. We saw last year at the U.S. Open. I'm not sure if he has had any moment in his career to date that will match what he experienced last year at the Open, beating Rafa and making that special run, which just clearly has inspired him.
Ooh. Just missed it.
Not an easy place to hit a drop volley from for Novak, but if anybody can make it look easy, it's him.
Well, had it dropped, I mean, Tiafoe had no chance.
But Francis guessed right and overran it a bit. It's 6:26 local time.
Friendly reminder, if they split sets, we'll go to a match tiebreaker, 10 points. We've had, what, 1 or 2 this week? Definitely Norrie, Tiafoe.
And then...
Oh, do we have one in Hallis Wu?
Yes.
I think we had one in
So
Hallis Wu,
yeah. All the legends end in the match time.
Just untouchable. That forehand volley, and the racket's like a little wand near the net. Just completely directing where he wants it to go. 2-all.
Francis with that big forehand. He was following that to the net. Didn't need to hit a volley.
Just missed it. Maybe a foot long. Back line. I couldn't tell if that was Tiafoe saying no.
What a shot by Novak.
If it was, he knew.
Crazy angle, hits the line. Francis saying you're not allowed to do that. Obviously Novak is allowed. Andy, it shows you how good your approach shot needs to be to win a point like that off of Novak Djokovic. You had to paint the line on one side to open up that court for him, just to get Novak far enough off the court where he can't get back. Wow. You can't hit a better second serve than Francis just did. Probably going to stay away from that backhand this time.
Yes.
And he did.
So if I'm correct here.
Good, Novak.
Friendly reminder that Novak Djokovic will be back at the U.S. Open this year. As we all know that due to vaccination requirements, he had not been there the last couple of years. Those have been relaxed. He's chosen to be, as far as we know, unvaccinated. And all those rules have been relaxed around the globe. So he'll be back at the U.S. Open, first time in a couple of years. Yep. Well, if that's Patrick chiming in, or who are that? I mean, he's got to win Wimbledon first,
Patrick.
right?
Yes, he does have to win Wimbledon first, for sure.
Yes.
They changed balls.
But if I'm not mistaken, he was there in 21. Is that right?
Yeah, that was the year he lost the Medvedev.
What I enjoyed most about this racket was the amount of topspin I could generate. It was really easy to hit my shots deep toward the baseline.
and then did not play.
If you're like me and you love to hit with tons of topspin, then you're going to want to check out this new Pure Aero Rafa.
Change, the relaxation in the international rules happened essentially this spring. So after the Sunshine
double.
What do we call it? The Sunshine double? Sunshine
double.
Yeah.
Probably the reason he's not number one, right? I mean, that's everybody's kind of talking about Alcaraz is back to one, but is he the real number one since Djokovic has won both the majors this year? But they have to make those tournaments.
Although a year ago, Nadal won the 2 majors leading up into Wimbledon.
Yeah.
So I think quietly, Francis probably just played the best game he's played all match. That serve +1. Saw some vintage Francis Tiafoe tennis there. That serve has definitely picked up as this match has gone on.
But the beauty of Djokovic that we've seen for decades now is his ability to stay in the moment, shake off a bad point, a bad game, and look at this. Completely flips the script and just aces his way. I don't know if he's pointing to Ivanisevic, but I see Goran laughing there. But just aces his way to tie it at 3-all. You know, a year ago, Randy and Patrick, had times been different. Obviously, this is his personal choice, but I kind of wonder if that requirement wasn't there, or if he'd chosen to be vaccinated, if Novak would have come to Ivanisevic's Hall of Fame ceremony.
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
Yeah, Goran played such a big part in his success, as did Novak's first coach, Marian Vida, who was on that team for so many years.
How long was he with Becker?
Actually, you know what? Let me correct myself. Last year was Leighton Hewitt. It was 2 years ago that Goran, yes.
Yeah.
And actually, that was a case when he could have come. Let me correct myself. Yeah. Because that was the U.S. Open he did play in 21. Because what happened was Leighton Hewitt was supposed to be part of that 2021 class.
Right.
And because of everything that was going on in Australia, they pushed him to 22. They're all blurring together for me right now.
Did Djokovic ever play Hall of Fame in his early years, Andy?
Not that I know of.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't believe Novak's been to Newport.
He'll definitely be there one day.
Yes. The question is, do we split up Serena and Roger? Do they go same year or one after the other? Technically, I think Federer would go the year before, because I don't think he played enough that year, because this past year Serena did. So I think actually technically Federer probably would go 1 year before Serena.
I would say you have to split them up. You don't have enough hotel rooms, Andy, in Newport for Serena and Roger. Francis facing a break point here. Big Foe starting to feel it.
Oh my God, what a forehand.
Great answer there for Tiafoe. He's on the verge of the set getting away from him. See if he can close it out. And he does. Right down the tee. You've been calling for that tee serve for quite some time, Randy. Every time you call for it, they go wide.
Tough hold. Tough hold after tough hold. That return, though, was good. A joke. That return was a fucking joke. I thought I won a point with that one. Oh, my gosh. Easy 135 in my feet. It's funny, though, because I was just like...
We are missing what? Yes. Check if they don't have it. Balls?
Yeah, inside, inside out would be tough, but I mean, you sold it there, and I thought, I don't know.
No, you had.
I knew you were going to go for it. I had to. I couldn't roll it. I mean, you hit a perfect shot. You can't roll that. You roll that. Short, you take the, you cut off the
Say what you want about Netflix break point. This is better stuff we're getting right here.
Yeah, lay out, lay out.
Remind him of with that next ball that it looks like he's behind.
Yeah, we got a ball kid change here. Very choreographed.
New balls.
Tiafoe's been 2 points away from a break a couple times. And here we are, break point.
That's some return by Francis. Novak took him out wide. He just ripped it cross court.
delivered that one right on the line. Earlier, Novak Djokovic called that one return a joke. You could argue that one was right alongside it. And there it is. Gets the break. Tiafoe up 5-3 with a chance to serve for the second set and send us to the match tiebreaker. Be his second one this week here at Hurlingham. He just snaps that forehand winner. Second service on a let. Ooh, missed it.
I just looked up what Tiafoe strings his rackets at. It says online 44 pounds. I was just wondering because he uses so much spin. Djokovic, it says he's at 56 in the crosses and 59 in the mains. A little more traditional.
Is Francis using a hybrid?
I think he just uses all poly, that Yonex Poly Tour Pro.
44.
Djokovic uses a hybrid, though.
Oh. You're just serving up that cross-court winner. By the way, of course, you can get that Yonex that he's playing with at TennisWarehouse.com for all things tennis. Right, Randy and Patrick?
No doubt.
Absolutely. You can get it strung with that string and at that tension, and they'll string it for you and have it to you tomorrow morning.
In perfect position for that winner as a volley.
I mean, EXO or not, we're seeing the tennis that has catapulted Francis Tiafoe into the top 10.
And there it is.
Beautiful stuff this set.
Hey, 6-3 in the second set. We are headed to a 10-point match tiebreaker.
Yeah, man, those forehand returns, man.
Let's listen in for a moment.
Rope those. Oh, no, dude. They'll go there. That's it. I'm fucked. 10-2.
Well, you heard it. I don't know if Novak was saying he's going to win this 10-2 or he's going to lose it 10-2.
It's so funny about grass, man. I feel like it's all like poor positioning, bro.
Judging by the word he used before, which I can't repeat, it sounded like he said he was going to lose 10-2.
One loose game, yeah.
But he did say he was roping him, which he was.
I mean, that said, I could have easily been 6-1 you. I mean, I was. No, yeah, but it's grass, you know. And it's like I get one look and win the set. Like.
you hear that? He said he could have easily won 6-1, but then Djokovic says, oh, you know, it's grass. It can be the equalizer.
Some of the patrons trying to figure out what they were saying. Sure, they'll be...
All right, everyone get their money's worth here at Hurlingham. Late afternoon in London.
So, great stuff. We're going to watch.
Or early evening now there, I should say. All right, here we go. 10 points. Got to win by 2. And remember the format. 1 serve, due side. These will be now coming, starting from the ad. They will switch every 6 total points. I love it. Everyone always apologizes on the tape, but in your head, you're like, yeah, sorry, but I'll take it.
Yeah, McEnroe never used to put his hand up.
I mean, no one purposely tries to do it.
Novak actually was probably genuinely sorry he did this in an exhibition.
Oh, and he missed it. It's a little mini break for Tiafoe. We are essentially back on serve.
That catch it?
Oh, he's saying it's good.
Oh. I didn't see any chalk fly up.
No. So they'll switch ends here, and Francis Tiafoe will serve now from the due side. It sounded like it said out, but the sign was in.
Yeah.
Again, I think that's the third time this afternoon that Djokovic has hit a high, deep return, forcing an overhead, and Tiafoe has hit each one of them for a winner.
I'm seeing that Djokovic has won 9 of his last 10 tiebreaks. Last tiebreak he lost was in April to Luca Van Ash, who is playing in this event later this week, right?
He'll play Saturday. Novak's certainly one of the great tie-break players of all time, if not the greatest.
Casual over your shoulder. Winner down the line. You win a point like that, you should be en route to winning the match. We'll see.
Or maybe even the Wimbledon title. Kidding.
So hard to stop, huh?
Looks like Djokovic has only lost 1 tiebreak before that one this year, so he's lost 2 total in 2023. That's back in the Australian Open.
Patrick, do you know the last year Novak Djokovic lost a match at Wimbledon was? Oof. We'll talk about it after the match.
Ooh, did it get to the line? Yeah, the sign is in.
Huh.
Yep, they called it in.
It was in?
My cousin, I forgot to tell you. He's definitely your friend called that in.
Novak's cousin.
Just keep going like this when I'm on this side.
There it is. What a beautiful drop shot.
You see Andy hit that sky hook overhead. Wasn't a traditional Novak Djokovic overhead. A little bit of showmanship there, but set up that next volley.
All right, so we got a match point, second serve here, match point, and a 10-point tiebreaker. And there it is. Valiant effort from Tiafoe. Novak Djokovic 6-3, 3-6, and 10-7, I believe. Yep, 10-7. Everyone got a show, high quality tennis. And even though Tiafoe lost both matches this week in tiebreakers, I think he gets a lot out of this in fact.
For sure. He really fought his way back into that match and played some phenomenal tennis in that second set. And in the tiebreaker.
Let's see if we can hear a little of the post-match interviews. It's been a little at times hard to hear, but we're going to try, right, Randy?
We are. I think the audio has gotten better. Comes Mr. Tiafoe, the 10th player in the world.
Here we go.
Looking for one of your epic celebrations at that point once you actually hit that, but it didn't quite come out there. Do you save that for the Grand Slam?
Yeah, you'll see a lot of celebrations next week for sure. Yeah, I was just I'm out here just relaxing a little bit, just trying to have some fun. But yeah, I should do something for y'all, but I'll save it for next week.
Okay, we'll wait with bated breath. But honestly, your spirit out there is so infectious. You bring so much joy to everyone watching you play tennis. So from all of us here, thank you so much, and we wish you all the best at Wimbledon.
Doesn't seem like it. It seems like you'll play to your 60.
But it's always fun, you know. Obviously, Wimbledon around the corner, we try to get some match play. It's a beautiful club here. Thank you all for coming out. I hope you enjoyed it too.
Wimbledon yesterday with the Alex Dinner, which is very cool indeed. But the other day you tasted the grass, which is your annual ritual at Wimbledon. I'm just wondering, have you tasted this?
I only eat Wimbledon grass.
Well, I'm not going to try it either, I'm not going to lie. But how well I got on tennis court the other day? I must be very excited to be back.
Actually, it was today.
Oh, today.
We played, and yeah, Wimbledon, you know, obviously being the most traditional historical tournament in the world. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only player that dreamt of winning Wimbledon, playing in Wimbledon, and it's a favorite tournament for so many players around the world. And has nurtured this tradition for so many years. So it was a little bit strange, I must say, that they were allowing us to hit on the center court before the tournament starts, which was never the case. Last year was the first year. So again, this year I had that privilege, to go out on the fresh grass and get a 45 minutes hit, feel the court. Yeah, it's as good as it can be, for the grass court. It's the best court in the world. Probably the most special, most well-known tennis stadium in the world of tennis. So, of course, every year feels like first time. To be honest, at Wimbledon, it's Wimbledon breeds history, breeds everything. Traditional, the greats that have paved the way for us. So it's going to be another great year, hopefully, for all of us.
Well, it's definitely not your first time at Wimbledon. You are going for your 5th consecutive one. So we wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for coming.
Guys, appreciate it. I hope everyone enjoyed it here on TennisONE. We are back on Friday and Saturday. Blair Henley will be in this chair, not literally this chair, but in this chair with Randy and maybe Patrick. I don't know if Patrick's chiming in from wherever he is. But a lot of great matches over the next 48 hours from Hurlingham.
Absolutely. Just to set it up quickly, Andy, before everybody takes off, tomorrow, 2:30 UK, 9:30 Eastern. We're still waiting for an opponent to take on Dominic Thiem. I'd like to play Dominic Thiem. They've been waiting a week to name somebody. I don't know. Thiem is without an opponent. Hopefully we find that out tonight, and we'll put it out there on social media for the fans' information. So that's match number 1 tomorrow, followed by Sasha Zverev will face Lehecka in match 2, and that's Jiri Lehecka. Is that correct, Patrick?
Yeah, Czech Republic.
Yeah, and then Legends doubles will cap things off with Mansour Barami, Mark Philippoussis versus Marcos Bagdatis, and Spain's Nicolas Almagro. So we will let you know who that TBD is against Thiem. Who knows? Maybe Novak comes back tomorrow. You never know.
Maybe that's where I'm checking in from.
Because there's another TBD Saturday against Van Ash. So we have 2 TBDs. So we'll see. But Andy, it's been a pleasure. And
we'll see you Saturday. Enjoy Friday. Appreciate it.
All right,
everyone.
Guys.
Enjoy your afternoon.
All right. We'll talk
Thanks,
to you soon.
Guys.